blown up a Russian tank with a Carl Gustav. That was fun. Tell us
about that.
So this was after Doc and Yuri got blown up, because they got blown up Christmas Eve, or not Christmas Eve, Valentine's Day. And this was a week or two afterwards. And the commander, he calls me. We weren't doing any missions because we were down a Humvee. We were down 5 guys. So like we've been kind of just doing some training and waiting for guys to heal up and stuff. And the commander, he called me. He was like, "Hey, come to the house." So I come over to the house, and he has a very thick accent. He speaks broken English. And as I walk in the house, he's like, "You shoot Carl Gustav?" I was like, "Yeah, man, I've shot a lot of people out here." He's like, "No." Kind of smiles. And he's like, "You shot Carl Gustav? Or you shoot Carl Gustav?" And I was like, "Yeah, man, if you say I did, sure." I was like, I don't know. I'm literally
You're not pulling it together.
I'm not putting it together. I'm like, how you know that I shot him is like, first of all, that's fucking cool. I was like, that's fucking cool. Like that you know that I shot him, but like, sure.
And Carl Gustav doesn't sound very, very like Russian name. Like
yeah. That's why I'm like, all right, like sure, like it's, and things aren't clicking because I've never seen a Carl Gustav before. I've never shot one. I've never used one. Like I know roughly what they are, but just it's not on my frontal lobe of exactly what it is. Also, it's 100% out of context. It's literally just you shoot Carl Gustav, and it wasn't. It was kind of like a question, but also a statement at the same time. So he starts laughing after I told him. I was like, sure, if you say so. Like I don't know who he is. Yeah. And he's laughing. He turns the corner and he's bringing me, the Carl Gustav. And I literally looked at him. I was like, oh, like all the stars aligned. Like it all makes perfect sense now. And I was like, he goes, you shoot Carl Gustav? And now it's a full question. Now I understand what he's asking. I looked at him. I was like, no, I've never seen. I'm telling him I've never seen one. I've never touched one. I was like, I don't know. And he goes, you shoot Carl Gustav on a mission. And I was like, okay. I was like, when? He goes, 1 hour. I was like, 1 hour. I was like, and I'm like, and then I at first we were just speaking English, and then I start speaking Ukrainian. I'm like, just so I can clarify what he's saying. I was like, I'm shooting this on a mission in 1 hour, and he was like, yes, da, exactly, yeah, Russian, da, and I was like, okay, so. Now I'm trying to figure out, like, how the hell am I going to learn how to shoot a Carl Gustav? Because we can't just go, I mean, we're in a small village in the middle of nowhere, and I mean, we do shoot the 50s and the AKs and stuff like that sometimes, but I can't just shoot a rocket into one of our fields, So I'm like, how am I going to learn how to use this thing? And I was like, you know what? I know just the guy who knows how to work and operate any weapon system that's out here. Yuri. Yeah. So I FaceTime Yuri real quick. And he doesn't answer, so I shoot him a text. I'm like, yo, I need you right now. Send him the text. He FaceTimes me seconds later. He's like, what's up, dude? I was like, yo, man, going on a mission in 1 hour, and I'm using a Carl Gustav. I've never done it before. I need you to give me the quick down and dirty on it, because I still have to get a mission brief. I still have to, give it to my guys. Still got to load up and get ready and push out. So I was like, I need the quick, simple on it. He's like, oh, dude, Carl Gustavs are super easy to shoot. Yep. And I'm looking at it. I'm like, I don't see how this is easy to shoot, but go ahead and lay it on me. He's like, all right, you see this little latch that's right here next to the
Venturi at the rear.
Well, no, because you have to push that slide down.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you have to push that slide down to your pistol grip. That's what I was trying to say.
Like the action.
Yeah, the action. Yeah, he goes
thumb grip it in.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, he goes, push that down, and you'll hear it click. And I was like, all right, cool. And he goes, now you can undo the back. And I was like, all right, push that in. It swings open. I was like, all right, cool, perfect. He goes, you're gonna put your round in there, and you're gonna close it. And he goes, make sure that the nipples are good. Everything like that, and it closes all the way. And I was like, all right, cool. And he goes, all right. And he goes, your safety is right here. You point and shoot. I was like, that's it. He goes, that's it. I was like, all right, cool. I was like, and he goes, all right, now let me tell you how to work the scope on it. I was like, there's not a scope on this thing. And he goes, the scope's in the house. So it's in our house, not the other house. I was like, shit. And I was like, all right, give me 1 second to run and grab the scope. So I run and grab the scope real quick, slap it on the Carl Gustav, which is also really easy. It literally just slides on.
Yeah.
Super easy. And he goes, all right, what rounds are you using? I was like, I don't know, whatever. A Carl Gustav round. He goes, no, man, there's like 8 or 9 different rounds. Like, which round are you using? I was like, how do I know what round it is? He goes, what are the numbers on the round? And I start looking at it. I was like, 551. He was like, all right, perfect. That's what do you say? That's your armor piercing.
Heat, yeah.
Or heat, yeah. Yeah, it's either heat or armor. One of the two. And then he goes, all right, you see the scope. You see you have 2 little dial. He goes, you have a dial with like green numbers.
Yeah, it's like green, yellow, red
yeah,
or something.
yeah, green.
And you like rotate it in. Yeah.
Yep. He goes, all right, for 551, you're going to need to use whatever color.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, cool. And he goes, make sure you push it in or pull it out, whichever line it's on, because the dial has 2 lines like right next to it. And if you want the inside line, you pull the knob out. If you want the outside line, you push it in.
Yeah.
He goes, that's important. Make sure you get it right. And I was like, okay, cool. So, I slapped it in, I dialed it, and he goes, all right, however far your target is, that's what those numbers are. And he goes, remember, it's in meters. And I was like, all right, cool, bet. So I was like, do I need to know anything else? And he goes, nah, man, you're good. He goes, make sure you watch your back blast.
Yeah.
Your back blast is a lot bigger than the RPGs and the AT4s that we've been shooting.
It'll
and
kill you within like 50 meters.
Yeah. He goes, make sure your back blast is clear. I was like, got it. I was like, cool. I now roughly know how to shoot a Carl Gustav. So we go to this trench that we've been operating out of, doing some work, and we haven't been able to successfully do the work because there's been tanks in the area supporting the Russian trenches, and this one tank just happened to be in a half-ass shooting position to where we can possibly get it. And who else better to shoot at this tank at a half-ass position that's never shot a rocket at that distance before? Me. Like, who else? Yeah. So I grab a few because they're in the 2 little. It's a case and two rounds to a case.
Yeah, looks like a jetpack case.
That's exactly what it looks like. A little jetpack. That's exactly what it looks like. And so we were in this trench, and then to be able to shoot the tank, we had to go to this other. It's a really big trench system, but they're just using it as an OP, so there's only like a couple of guys in it. So we go to this trench, and like way across this field, and it was like 800 meters away, give or take a little bit. I can just see like this small speck in the tree line, and there's other Russian tanks that are already blown up. Like I think there was three other Russian tanks in that same vicinity that were already blown up. So I'm sitting there talking to my point man. I'm like, all right, man, where is it? He goes, he's guiding me on. I'm like, all right, cool. I see that tank. He goes, not that tank. I was like, that's the tank you just said. He goes, no, that one's blown up. Don't shoot that one. I was like, got it. And he goes, next to it. I'm like, dude, there's nothing next to it. And he goes, and then he's like, it's very small. And then he goes, it's just the black dot that's right there in the tree line. And I was like, He goes, you see it? And I was like, no. And he goes, and like I can see him getting frustrated because like I'm just not seeing it. I don't. And then he pulls out his phone and he has a picture of it on his phone from the drone. And he goes, here. And I was like, oh, it's right. They're using this tank that's blown up to cover up this tank. So literally just a small portion of this tank was sticking out from that tank. That's why I thought he was pointing at that tank. I was like, oh, okay, cool. I got it. And he goes, you got it? I was like, I got it. We're good. So I load the first round in and, set my scope for 800 meters. And I was like, all right, fire in the hole. I made sure my ear pro was in, because he was talking about how big the back blast was. So I was like, this thing's got to be fucking loud. And I also forgot this thing was recoilless at the time. I completely forgot it was recoilless. So like I'm sitting there, like I'm bracing, like I'm waiting for a kick from hell, like a recoil from hell for this thing. And I shoot it, no recoil. It was loud as all get out, even with
weird feeling.
It was
It's the percussion.
That's all you feel is just the energy leave the tube is what really kind of what you feel. And I'm watching my smoke trail, and I'm watching it. And it goes way over the tank. I was like, shit. So I jump down, drop another round into it, get up there, and like now I'm trying to be quick. I was like, if I can see my smoke trail, they can see my smoke trail. And I was like, the last thing I need is this tank to start shooting at me while I'm out of the trench. So I shoot again. And I'm watching my smoke trail, and it's looking good, and it skimmed right over the top of the turret. And I was like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. I'm just giving these guys all day to start shooting at me. Yeah. So I jump down again, get another round, jump back up, and now I'm just praying. I'm like, please don't shoot me, because I can't see if he's facing me. I can't see anything. Yeah. I can just see this black blob. And I'm like, and now I'm shooting, because the second time I shot lower and I still went over a little bit. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna shoot even lower. So now I'm aiming at like the ground right where his tracks are. And I shoot again, and I'm like, please hit, please hit, please hit. And all of a sudden I hear, the metal on metal, and then I see like sparks, kind of go up in the air, and I'm like, boom, like that's it, got him. And I was like super excited and like happy at the same time. I was also very unimpressed and disappointed, because they don't blow up like I thought they do. They don't blow up like they do on movies, where the turret flies in the air and like there's this huge fireball and ammunition starts cooking off everywhere. It didn't do that.
Didn't cook?
No. I mean, there was a good like smoke cloud like afterwards, after we like started like packing things up and like pushing out. Like I could see like smoke in the air and stuff like that, but it wasn't like the big fireball like I thought it was going to be.
Was it manned? It wasn't abandoned.
I think it was manned, because I mean they'd been using it to support the other elements, and like there's a Russian trench right there where it was at, because we've taken we've taken good amount of small and heavy arms fire from that position, so it was. It was possibly. I'm thinking it was manned. I would like to think it was manned. That I just
I take it as manned.
That's what I'm thinking. I destroyed a Russian tank and what four crew guys. Sure, that's what I say.
It's fucking wild.
It was fun. It was fun. And then we immediately, probably like 2 or 3 minutes later, started getting some really, really direct artillery fire. They were not happy about it. They were not happy about their tank getting blown up. But yeah, packed up and went home. Literally just there to blow up a tank, and that was our mission. Went home. Yeah.
And how